bots. They're hammering your website, slowing everything down, chewing through your bandwidth. You can see them in your analytics, traffic coming in from countries that you've never done business with, and it all looks pretty questionable. You've tried blocking the countries, but it doesn't work. They just keep coming. Everyone tells you to use Cloudflare, but when you get in there, honestly, it's all technical gibberish or it just is overwhelming. We're going to try and fix that today.
Welcome to Rise and Shine, your daily business tech boost with me, Charly Leetham. If you're a small business owner looking to simplify technology and get real, actionable advice from someone with 35 years of IT experience, you're in the right place. Every episode, I'll dive into tools and systems like email, CRM, marketing and tracking, and I'll break them down into bite-sized tips you can use straight away. Your time is valuable, so let's get straight to the point. It's time to work smarter, not harder.
Rise and Shine. It's your business tech boost with me, Charly Leetham. This is episode number 669. It's Walkthrough Wednesday, and we're going to be talking about blocking bots in Cloudflare using the free accounts. Now, if you have a paid account, you've got a few more options available to you. But today we're just going to look at what's available on the free account because honestly, there's a heap available. It might be a bit overwhelming for you when you first start, and hopefully I can try and cut through some of that overwhelm and we can look at it. We can try and make this easier for you. So first of all, we should look at what's actually going on. I was contacted by a client. I get contacted by a lot of clients in case that's not obvious. But I was contacted by a client who is having trouble with her site getting a lot of visitors in inverted commas from China, Russia, Indonesia, some of the Eastern Bloc countries, not countries that she actually does business with, not countries that she actually sells into either. So look, some of it could be legitimate. They might be seeing her on social media or they might be seeing her in search engines, but the level of traffic she was seeing indicated to us it was bots. So we went and had a look, and yes, it was bots. There's some things that you can look at to see that they are bots. What are they? They're automated scripts that basically hit your site over and over and over again. How they work, I don't want to go into the details of it, but pretty much someone will take a web server somewhere, a server somewhere out on the internet. They'll put these scripts onto a server and they will just let them run, and they just run and run and run. And they try to access your site. Now, some of them are there to scrape data. And we'll talk about the data scraping ones or the data gathering ones in a minute. And some of them are there to actually try to find holes in your security to see whether it can be exploited, whether your web server can be exploited, and therefore you get hacked. So let's first of all look at the ones that are collecting information. So some of those are fine. That's the way search engines work. Google sends out what we call spiders, and they hit your site. They're little bots. They hit your site and they read your content in an electronic format so that your pages can appear in search engines. So we want those ones to hit our site. Facebook generates link previews doing a similar thing. But then there are the ones that actually try to scrape information and put it into databases that then people reuse. You could have people that are trying to replicate your site and scraping the data and scraping the look of the site and then sending it off somewhere else and building that site elsewhere. Not quite so common, but it still happens. As I said, vulnerability scanners are huge, and AI crawlers that are grabbing content. So on top of the ones that are just scraping and getting the surface level stuff, AI crawlers can get right in and get information out of your site. Now, why does it matter that bots are hitting your site? The ones that are indexing your pages and generating link previews like Google and Facebook and a few of the other search engines, well, they're fine. They don't come all that often. They don't add an awful lot of load to your site. But the other ones that do, when you get a lot of them, they start to slow your site down because the web server, every time someone requests a page or something requests a page from your site, it uses just a little bit more of the resources on the web server. If someone, it eats a little bit more of the bandwidth that goes into your web server or comes out of your web server. If you are on a fixed bandwidth with contract, it starts to add up, and either eventually you're going to run out of the bandwidth that is within your contract and your site stops displaying, or you get hit with a huge bandwidth bill at the end of the billing period. It also messes with your analytics. It really gives you some really skewed information, because these bots will come in, they're all looking over here, and you think, oh, people are interested in this thing, but it's not people, it's automations. Will the bots hack you? No, probably not. Not upfront. And if you keep your website up to date and you keep all your patches up to date, it's less of an issue. But they will be looking for vulnerabilities, which is why you do have to keep your site updated. The last thing that we really should talk about in all of this is blocking countries doesn't seem to work, or it works for a little while and then it just stops working. That they all come back again. And that's because these little bot farms get set up, and they get set up in one country, or they get set up on a server in a country. And then we block that country. So they go, oh, well, what we're going to do is we're going to use VPN technology, uh, and come in through another country. What will look like we're coming in through another country, or as often happens, so the people who are running these bot farms will just go and take a web server in another country and hit you from that country. So that's one side of that equation. The other side of that equation is that legitimate customers sometimes use VPNs, and they may look like they're coming from those countries for various reasons. I'm not even going to try and posit why they would want to come from an Asian country if they're in Australia or whatever. There's good reasons they'll want to do it. They are legitimate customers. You don't want to be blocking them. And as I said, bad actors will just move around the globe until, and you're just going to have to play whack-a-mole with them to get rid of them. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to go into my Cloudflare account. We're going to look at one of my free accounts, and we're going to look at the security rules you can set up that will give you, hopefully, a little bit more comfort, that not just comfort, it will give you a little bit more control, that you can stop things without stopping them at a country level. You can look at some of the specifics that you need to and say, if it looks like this, if it looks like an apple, it probably is an apple, and we're going to block the apple, but we're going to let all the oranges through. So let's look at the details here. So we're going to go to Cloudflare. We're going to go to security and security rules. I am going to do a walkthrough on this one, promise. And we're going to look at custom rules. Now, on the free plan, we get 5 custom rules that we can use. That means we have to be very smart about the rules we're setting to get the biggest bang for our buck, to quote a phrase. And from there, we need to know what it is we're trying to deal with. Sorry, I just had a blank out. So one of the things we might want to look at is in our security analytics, we might look at the user agents that are coming into the site. We might look at countries. We might look at threat scores. If that sounds like it's all overwhelming, I'm going to give you a couple of very quick hits you can do, quick fixes you can do that will hit a lot of the pain. If we use the 80-20 rule, it's probably going to give you 80% of the protection for 20% of the effort, and then you can really have a look at what needs refining from there. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is share my screen, and then we're going to step through how we look at all this. Okay. Okay, guys, so I've logged into my Cloudflare account. This is a free account. This is if you've been following my podcast for any length of time, this is my Scratch account, learnaboutdogstoday.com. It doesn't go anywhere, as you can tell, because there's no traffic, but I've got it set up here so that I can do these sorts of demos. Now, before we actually dig into Cloudflare, I do want to just come across to this page here, which I will have the link to on my blog post that contains this episode. It won't be on YouTube or Rumble or any of the external services. I tend to get hit with warnings for sharing these types of links out. So what I'm going to do is put this just on my blog post. If you're looking for it, come and have a look on my blog post. These are common use cases for rules that you can set with Cloudflare. They're worthwhile having a look at. I did find them when I first started doing all of this quite confusing. If I just go and have a look at this challenge bad bots, it gives you a whole heap of stuff here, and then it says you've got to do this, you've got to do this, you've got to do this. And if you don't understand the way Cloudflare is written, or what it all means, it can all seem a bit overwhelming. So I'm going to try and cut through it today. But if you are looking for more explanation on what I'm doing and why it does it, or you're a bit of a tech head and you really want to understand it, this is a good place to start. But let's go back to our dashboard. In our Cloud, or on our Cloudflare account, the free account, well, if you have a paid account, as I said before, you've got a few more options available to you, but we're going to do this on a free account. There are a couple of settings that you should consider configuring as default and leaving them running all the time. They're over here on the right-hand side of your dashboard, of your overview screen. The first one is your block AI training bots. You need to make a decision whether you want AI to come and train on your website or not. At some point, I will get someone on to talk about AI SEO, and I'll do a little bit of a few episodes on it myself. But for now, I tend to set this off. I don't want AI training on my websites, not until I really understand what it really means to me, and whether I want my content like used to train. So I'm going to set this to block on all pages. Your manage robots.txt file. Like I said, bots, robots, they're synonymous. They can be used interchangeably. Make sure you've got this set to content signal policy at the very least. Maybe instruct AI bot traffic with robots.txt. I use content signals policy. I let Cloudflare manage all this. If you've got it set to disable, please make sure you have it turned on. Now, this is just a text file that when bots visit the site, they look for this file. Well, they should look for this file, and they should look at what the directives, the instructions in that file are for their type of bot. Unfortunately, if it's a bad bot, a bad actor bot, it will ignore your robots.txt file, which is why we have to do this episode. The final thing that I do want to point out here is under quick actions, you've got under attack mode. If you are noticing you're getting hit with a lot of traffic and it's slowing your site down, or it's causing your site to crash, seriously consider turning the under attack mode on. What it will do is it will give all visitors a little box will pop up saying, "Are you real? Are you a human?" and make them go through those steps before they'll actually get through to your site. So this is always a good one to turn on if you feel you are under attack. If you're not sure, if you don't think you are, leave it off. It'll annoy your visitors. So once you've got those set up, you're going to want to go and set up some security rules to slow these bots down. That's done in the left-hand menu under security. If you just click on that, you get a drop-down menu and come down to security rules. Now, we are on a free account, so there are limitations as to what we can and can't do. So if you get a message saying you need to upgrade your account, there's normally a way you can do something, maybe not quite as cool or as nifty, but it will give you a level of protection. I'm going to go through a couple that you can set straight away. So we're on the security rules. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 sections that you can see here. Custom rules, rate limiting rules, managed rules, and IP access rules. We're going to be working with custom rules. I'm not going to touch on rate limiting rules yet today, and managed rules are for pro accounts and above, and the IP access rules, I'm just going to assume that you want this open to the world and you want everyone accessing your website, or everyone, all the legitimate people accessing your website. So we're not going to touch those either. We are going to look at custom rules. To add a custom rule, we can go to create rule. Now you've got two places. You've got next to custom rules on the left-hand side. Just to the right of that, it says create rule. It's a little link. Or you've got the big blue button on the right-hand side. I'm going to click on that and say custom rules. Did I get it? Okay, so here we are with new custom rule. We need to give this a name. We will come to that in just a moment. And then we need to set up what the rule is. Now, you can try and do this manually if you want to use that common use cases that I showed you, or if you want to just copy in what we're going to do here, you're quite welcome to do that. But one of the easiest ways I've found, or semi-easy, Cloudflare has introduced an AI engine to do this, or an AI helper to do this, and this is a perfect use of AI. This is one of the use cases for AI that I actually approve of. So click Create Rule with Cloudy. That's on the right-hand side. It's the blue text. It's going to ask you what sort of rule you want to create. So in this case, what we're going to do is we want to allow all good bots. Okay. So search engine bots, we want to allow Facebook bots, we want to allow. Once we've got to that far, hit enter. And be very patient. You'll notice here that you've got some examples that you can try and prompt as well. Just remember that on a free account, we've only got so much we can do. So here we go. This has actually come up and given us a rule straight away. It says CF, which will be the Cloudflare suffix, dot bot management score is less than 30. That's not going to help us because we don't have access to the bot management score. So what we're going to do is allow search bots. That's probably the one we want. So you do have to know what is allowed on your account and what isn't. It will tell you if you go through the process and you apply the rule and you can't use it, it'll tell you you've got to upgrade. Okay, this is the one I was looking for. So allow search bots is the search you want to do. cf.client.bot EQ true. Now, this isn't quite right. I know that because I've been through this process before doing this episode. But what we're going to do is we're going to click on apply rule. Now, if you try, you give this a rule, give this a name. This is allow good bots, allow search bots. Spell it correctly, Charlie. And this client.bot is a list that Cloudflare maintains of all the bots that should be allowed through to your website. And if it doesn't fall into that list, this rule will block them or won't allow them through. Once you've got down to here, it will ask you to choose an action. And in this case, we want it to skip, because if it's in the list, this is what this is saying. If it's in the list, allow it through. Then it's going to ask, what else do you want it to skip after you've done this? So do you want it to skip all the remaining rules? Well, we do, because we want this traffic just to go through. We're not going to be setting any other rules that we need to manage, so we can just let it go straight through. That's all I'm going to set. I am going to click deploy. Now this is going to give me an error. Now, the error down the bottom says it's not a valid use of the expression, could not pass the filter expression. I wanted to show you the error because it can be quite overwhelming. It can be quite shocking when you look at it and think, what have I done? This is basically telling us that the way this is laid out is incorrect. So there's a problem with the AI, and this is why AI isn't the be all and end all. But we do know a few things. We do know we need to test for client.bot being true. How do we do that? You've got this use expression builder here. Let me just go back. I didn't mean to click on that. On the right-hand side of the box where you've got that expression, just above it, it says use expression builder. Click on that. It's going to ask you to discard the changes. That's fine. Here, now we get a drop-down list and we've got a whole heap of things we can do. It says field. In field, drop it down and scroll all the way down to where it says bot traffic, and we want known bots. Click on that. You see here it says cf.client.bot, which is exactly what we had. It says equals and it's got a tick in it. So if it's in this expression, it's going to put it through. We've got everything else set up. We want to skip it, and we want to skip all remaining custom rules. We've still given it a name. Yep. I'm going to click save or deploy. And you'll see here we now have all our search bots are allowed through If it matches this, it's going to allow them through. Now, do we want to go and block things that we don't know about? Yes, we should go and block bots that don't appear in that list. Theoretically, they should be blocked here, but if you want to be certain, you can click Create Rule, create a custom rule. I'm going to say block bad bots. And instead of going through Create with Cloudy, we're just going to do the same thing here. We're going to come down to where it says when incoming requests match, and it's got field. Come down all the way down to known bots. And you'll see here, because I've turned that value off now, it says expression preview, not cf.client.bot. And what do we want it to do? We want to give it a managed challenge. So this is why you want to do the two things. You want to say if it's in the allowed list, if it's in the list that we know about, just let it through, don't challenge it. But if we don't know about it, we want to manage the challenge, because some bots will respond properly to the challenge, and they're the well-written ones, and they're the ones we want to allow through. And the ones that don't are just going to get told, no, you're not allowed here, and shunted off somewhere. Okay. So, and at this point, it's asking us where we want to put it. So we're going to put it last. Okay. So it's going to go as the last rule in the list. So you can actually set the rule, the order of the rules as you're entering them. Okay, so there are 2 rules that we've set. So that's 2 out of our 5. We've got allow search bots, and we've got block bad bots. Those 2 are going to go an awful long way for you in protecting you. Now, remembering we only have 5 rules, I can think of 2 more rules we probably want to add here. The first one is to do with how an originating requester, so a visitor, forms their request. And a lot of the bots have something that's missing. It's called a user agent, and that's missing. That doesn't exist in the request packet that comes to the site, or the request data structure that comes to your website. Now, if it's missing, it is a sure indication that that is a bad actor, and we do want to block it. So what we're going to do now is, now that we're allowing good search box and we're blocking, or we're challenging bots that we don't know about, we're going to create a third rule by clicking Create Rule, Custom Rule, and we're going to say block missing user agent. And look, we could try and use Cloudy to create it, but I know what I'm looking for. I know what I want to do, so I'm going to just build it manually. When the incoming requests match, and in the select under field, we're going to click on select, and come down to where it says user agent, and which one is it? I'm going to select equals, and we're just going to leave it blank. We're not going to put anything in there. We're just going to leave it blank. Okay, so http.user_agent eq blank. What do we want to do? We want to block it. No, we don't want to block it. I've got to get my head right here. We want to manage the challenge on it. So again, if it doesn't have a user agent, the system will throw up a halt who goes there type challenge. The user, if the visitor, will have to go through something like a capture. Yes, I'm human, and it might pop up, choose all the stairs, choose all the cars, whatever it is. And if they pass that, then they will be allowed through to your website. Now, again, there's nothing else we need to skip here. We're going to add it as the last rule. We're going to click deploy. So that's our third one. Now, the fourth one that I think we should do, there are things known as aggressive crawlers. Ahrefs is one. Let me have a look at what the other ones are. SEMrush is one of them. So there's a couple of agents, search engines that come out, and they visit a lot, and they put a lot of load on the site. So we kind of want to slow them down. So what we're going to do, we're going to add a fourth rule, create the template, custom rules. Now this one I'm actually going to give you, because we're on a free account, there's only so much we can do with it, but we can create our own expression that will catch most of this stuff. So we are going to call this one block aggressive search engines. And rather than do a create rule with Cloudy or come in and use the drop downs here, we're actually going to go right down to where it says expression preview, edit expression. We're going to click on that. And in here, if you come to my blog post for this episode, this will be in the episode notes for you. It says http:/user_agent contains Yandex or contains Baidu or contains SEMrush. Whole heap of ones here that we're going to want. I'm just going to clean that up a little because I had something in there we didn't need. So a whole heap of search engines that we know about that can cause some issues. We are getting anything that just has a HTTP user agent that contains bot. And if it contains the term crawl as well. So what's going to happen is if any of the HTTP user agents, which is something inside the data packet when the request goes to the web server that says, I'm this type of thing, or this is who I am, it's going to look at that. It's going to decide to under the action, we are going to decide to manage the challenge on it again. So if something is legitimate and it comes through, for example, if it's got bot in the user agent or it's got crawl in the user agent, but they are a legitimate user, they'll get the managed challenge and they'll be able to get through your site. If you set it to block, nothing will come through. They'll just get a message saying you can't visit this site. So whilst we might not want these sorts of agents hitting our site with great regularity, there are a couple that will fall into this expression that we've created, this test we've created, that we want to allow through. So we're going to leave it as managed challenge. I'm going to click on deploy. Now that's 4 rules we've set. That's 4 rules we've set out of your 5. I'm going to leave the 5th one there because you might want to do something with that yourself. We aren't going to do anything else on this right now. What I would recommend, and I'm going to come across and talk to you guys in just a moment, what I would recommend you do is, now that you've got these set up, make sure you come into your security settings and go to analytics. And mine is going to be empty because there's nothing coming through, but you are going to start to see suspicious traffic appearing here. You're going to start to see things that look strange here. And it's this information here that we can use to tweak or change those rules to better suit your site. So make sure you are watching your analytics, make sure you're watching traffic and events to see what's going on. Righty, so there's some things that you can try on your Cloudflare account. They will work, that will all work on a free account. You don't need to upgrade, you can use your free account. It will give you some relief. It will give you a lot of relief, but it won't give you as much as if you're on one of the paid accounts and have access to a few more of their tools. Remember that I will have some of those expressions that we mentioned on the blog post for this episode. So you're going to have to come across to my website to pick it up, only because YouTube gets a bit funny at times and actually hits me with warnings for putting up, well, they call them dodgy links or they call them suspicious links. So I'm just not going to put them up. So some of that stuff will be on my blog post. So you're going to have to go and read that. Sorry. Remember, please, to go back regularly and check your analytics on your Cloudflare account. Have a look at what you're seeing. See if there's anything strange happening. Tweak your rules if you need to. I know it feels a little overwhelming, and if it's not something you want to do yourself, and I totally get that you might not want to do it yourself, that's the sort of job that I can do for you. I can work with you. I can look at the analytics. I can make some suggestions. We can see what we can do within a free account, whether you really need to upgrade or not, or whether there's other things that can be done to slow bots down and just relieve the pressure on your site from non-productive traffic. Now, if you want to take advantage of that, I do offer a free 30-minute breakthrough session, I call them. You can book that from my website, askcharlyleetham.com. If you go there and click on the big magenta button on the top right hand corner, you can get a 30-minute free consultation breakthrough session with me. I will give you as much value as I can in that 30 minutes. If you've already used your free breakthrough session, you can book extra time with me, of course. I am available to hire and do this sort of work for you. Sort of work I like doing. I like digging in and getting my hands dirty, so to speak. If you want to give it a go yourself, by all means do. Just remember too that if it is the sort of thing that if you get it wrong, you might actually affect legitimate traffic. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just trying to give you the unvarnished truth. You might affect legitimate traffic, and remember too that that then has a flow-on effect to the know you, like you, trust you about coming to your website and your website actually working. So have a think on it. Let me know if I can be of help. Now, did I ask more questions than I answered? I certainly hope so. That's the idea of doing all of these things, is so that we can all learn and grow together. If I did, if you've got comments about what you've done and what has worked and what hasn't worked, if you've tried it and it was an unmitigated disaster, if you've tried it and you've had some real great success, let me know in the comments, wherever you're watching or listening to these videos. If this video or this episode was useful to you, please give it a like. Maybe share it with a friend who you know is struggling with managing the bots on their site. And if you haven't done so already, please do subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell so you find out when I drop more content. I will see you Friday for Firewall Friday, where we talk about being safe online. See you guys.
Hey there, thanks so much for tuning in to Rise and Shine, your daily business tech boost. I hope today's episode gave you some actionable insights that will make your business tech work smarter for you. If you found value, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with other small business owners who could use a daily boost. For more tips, tools, and resources, visit www.askcharlyleetham.com. Until next time, keep rising, keep shining, and let's make tech simple together.